everybody. This is the beautiful Huntington Beach, my shit, with Bryan
Hello,
by the
everybody.
bathrooms at
How's it going?
Huntington
How's
Beach.
it going?
We're gonna have a little walk and get our questions. And as always, I want to thank Little Skunky Products for being so kind and loving, and viewers like you for sending me money to make this possible. Here we go. So the first thing I wanted to ask, because that's the most important thing to the people that I've told that you are going to be here, Bryan, is what's um, what's up with and what's the difference between having a phone and a real camera? Because some people are really haters on the phone thing, and then some people are really into the camera thing. And I've seen what you do. This man is videographer, photographer. What else?
Content creator, marketing director, creative director, event coordinator, producer director.
Let me scooch to the right. And in all those roles, you've been able to see how the visuals change or
Yes.
matter.
Yeah, so fortunately and unfortunately, we are in the day of age where cameras now shoot 4K,
Right.
30 FPS, 60
Right.
FPS. So it does allow a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I have a phone. Why are the people with the camera pushing me to the side, and the people with the cameras, acting like they're better than me?
Part of it, especially when dealing in marketing in general, perception is reality.
There we go. That's
Right.
what I'm talking
So
about.
when it comes to branding yourself as a content creator, having the right tools, regardless of whether or not they could be accomplished by another tool,
Right.
having a tool that is an industry standard
Right.
is kind of just a professional look
Right.
for your own branding as a content creator.
Okay. So it's personal branding so it's not that it doesn't makes much of a difference, but it does. Because I've seen what you do,
It
and it's different from
does.
what I can do with my phone.
And the main, what I feel like the main difference between a professional, let's say a mirrorless camera, versus a phone, or even if you go to like a Red or a Komodo, is really the depth of field and the amount of post production you can do. So with a camera, a cell phone,
Okay.
there's not really too much you can do to the footage. The footage is your footage. You can't change the color too much, or if you can, it actually degrades the
Well,
footage.
I know you know about PixArt and CapCut and all that good stuff, right? So what's that lets me do a little something, no?
Correct. But if you actually had a professional camera, you wouldn't be able to use CapCut or any of those programs because they don't actually accommodate for the size of those files.
Right.
So when you're shooting with a professional camera,
that's why Photoshop.
That's why I have Photoshop or Lightroom or Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve.
Well, I remember taking a class for Photoshop, and it kind of pisses me off that now we have all these apps and that AI also does it, but that you used to have to go to school to edit the right way, but now it's just accomplished with little apps, and everybody's good at it.
And that is another comparison would be like Canva versus Photoshop. Canva might be like your cell phone, right?
Yeah.
And Photoshop is your higher end camera, right?
Okay.
So where Canva is just kind of easy to use, the user interface is very simple, plug and play. You know,
and a lot of templates.
Right? A lot of templates. Camera has the filters, a lot of like easy to go stuff, right?
Right.
But when it comes to you want to print design on a product packaging,
right?
You want to actually make a T-shirt.
Right.
You're actually using high quality images that
the
are going to
pixelation
get blown
and stuff
up
we need.
to a billboard size,
Right.
right? When you're dealing with Illustrator files, you're going to have to use a more robust program, which is the professional Photoshop program, right? And that reverts to the cameras as well, right?
Yeah.
At some point, if you're going to want to shoot for a TV and not just Instagram,
right?
That's where these better cameras, you're going to see the bigger difference on a bigger screen than a smaller screen.
Have you messed with AI within your doings on? Because I'm trying to stay away from it for my creative processes.
Oh no, AI is going to be the revolution that's going to help the content creators create more content.
Just more, just more. Yeah.
Just more.
And it is. Have you seen what Snoop is doing with AI?
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Well, it is going to take some jobs. for sure. That's just to
You
be
don't think it's
honest.
gonna make some jobs like that? We're gonna have to get a little, I don't know,
Well,
find a different way.
Yes, just like when the car came through the buggy, people are like, "Oh, what about the horses and stuff like that?" Right?
Right, right.
But of course, then you need mechanics and other
Right.
things to fix a car. So there will be other industries within the AI field that gets created.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to. There are gonna be people that switch.
Have you
right?
set up people's podcasts before?
Yeah, I set up the whole Cannabis Capital podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. So you know what kind of camera would be the best one to get off the rip if it was a small, like if like say I'm starting
Mhm.
today,
Mhm.
and I'm not using my phone because that's what I've been using. My phone, I've been using my laptop
Mhm.
and Boomcaster. But say I wanted to upgrade
Yep.
my level.
There,
What would be a
nowadays,
good first starter if you want to start a podcast of
There's
your
two
own?
really good cameras, specifically only like if you want to set and play, right? Like you just
Okay.
set the camera there.
Okay.
You don't have to move it. It's not necessarily for lifestyle shoots or stuff like that.
Lifestyle
Sony has a
shoots.
really good one that's a vlog specific, and then
Okay.
Canon has this one that's vlog specific. I don't know quite sure what the names of them are.
But you'll find them
But
and
the-
you'll get me the links and I can
yes,
put it
yes,
underneath.
and they're specifically for vlogging
Right.
and podcasts.
Okay.
Like so that it doesn't overheat.
Right.
The specs are still up to date, but it's definitely a little bit better than.
What do you mean
your regular
overheat?
camera. So the bigger cameras, the nicer cameras, they tend to overheat. So you're gonna, yeah. So that's why a lot of podcast studios are cold, or the AC is always on, because the cameras are constantly running and it's constantly creating heat. Especially, and then you have the light bulbs and the lights and all that stuff, which create more heat.
Well, Cannabis Capital though has a whole that's a whole studio production thing, like
correct
thing.
And for those we bought
so you had huge
studio cameras. Yeah, those were so the vlog cameras I was just talking about are podcasts, but you can also take them like we're doing right now, let's say, right?
Okay.
The ones we bought at Cannabis Capital were more studio based.
Heck
so
yeah, like, when I sat down in there, I'm like, oh, this is a serious, we're here.
It's a plus or minus with those cameras. The reason why we chose those cameras is because they have ports that you could connect the SDI cable to, run it back to the other end of the studio, and control the camera through the recording room.
Yo, so okay, that's what I saw was the recording room.
So that's one of the reasons why we went with those studio cams, because they're not leaving the studio. Right. Typically, a lot of podcasts do like to.
That's the point I want to go is to have like a studio. Actual, like a TV, like to have TV, and I want to do like a, like Anthony Bourdain, like that. That's what we're going towards. You said, oh, okay, but we're talking about cameras. I wanted to know about lenses.
Yes.
What's the point? Yeah.
Well, there's
just
two
if
types
I don't
of
know
lenses.
anything.
Yeah, two types of lenses. You have your prime lenses and your zoom lenses, right? Okay. Your prime lenses are going to be your lenses that are just stuck in one spot. You can't zoom in and zoom out. You either have your 28 mil, your 50 mil, your 80 mil, and it's static. It doesn't shift, right? Okay. And then you have your zoom lenses, which is like your 28 to 70, where you can actually zoom in on the lens. So the camera doesn't do that. The lens does that, connected to the camera, and the camera communicates to the lens to do that. Oh. So you're actually turning the lens to zoom in and out. With your hand? With your hand. And then there's plus or minuses on whether you want prime or zoom. Typically, if you're like an event run and gun type of person, you kind of want to do a zoom lens because you might have to get in closer to an artist or zoom back out. Well, you've seen my content. You've seen what I can do. I can do it. Okay. Because the prime lens are a little bit more for like studio work, portrait photography, like weddings, like kind of where you don't have to change your lens all the time. You can just leave that one prime lens and you don't have to. But if at an event, you're like, oh, I want to get a shot of that all the way over there. You got to switch the lens, and you got to switch the lens, and that's but then in the phone, I can just go like that. Correct. But remember, the biggest difference between a camera and a professional camera, or I should say a cell phone camera and a professional camera, is the ability to work with the footage post-production. Right. So you're able to... It's easier to change the color, to color grade, slow down, speed ramp, zoom in and keep the quality, add noise reduction, add a mist filter. There's a lot more that you can do to a professional raw file versus a cell phone file. If I try to do too much to a cell phone file, it just completely it starts blurring it. Yeah. What mistakes have you seen
have you been seeing? Like, as since you've been doing the thing and you see everybody trying, but you're not a trying. Mr. Bryan is not a trying. Mr. Bryan does it. So since you've seen the tryings,
Of people.
yes, include me up in that bitch. What are the mistakes or what are the things that you'd be like, okay, well, if they did this instead of that, or
Well, the,
what advice?
the first thing would be to just try, right? So if you're already trying, props, because everybody talks about it and
Yeah.
they do it, right? So
Okay.
that's number one. I don't want to talk bad about anybody who's even trying,
No,
right? Because
thank you.
that's already a plus.
Yeah.
But let's say you are trying.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake I've seen some people do is when they're trying to network their work. They are afraid to either provide a free service or show the customer like, hey, I'm not really here about your money. I'm here because I appreciate your brand.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Get to know the brand more than pitching your services.
Okay.
After you get to know the brand, after they like you,
So
maybe
build the relationship.
build a relationship, get to know them a little bit more, and then pitch your services. That's how I find it.
Okay.
I
Just beneficial.
Yes.
That
yes.
it's more. I think that sounds more genuine.
Well, there's a lot of content creators nowadays.
That's true.
So would you rather work with somebody who is
You said hello to?
Yeah, or a friend. So that's kind of where it comes to.
Okay. Do you mind if we
Post up?
dabble? Yeah, we're gonna post up, but we're also gonna dabble into some of the other things that you said
Yeah, for sure.
that you were good at. What do we got here? We got Izzy, somebody named Ackerman. Okay. All right. Let's hear. And I'll get you for a couple more minutes, and then we'll
beautiful day.
Go, right?
Beautiful day.
Camera, so they can see.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Fellow content creator.
That's right.
You want anything to drink?
Yeah, I was gonna get us something.
No, I got you. Come on.
Oh, he's a gentleman.
Of course.
Thank you. Yeah. What are you getting?
What would you like? I'll get you whatever you want.
A Coke.
Coke?
Yeah.
No alcohol.
Thank you. No alcohol. Thank you.
No.
No, it's just a can.
Oh.
Yeah. So we are at we're in Huntington Beach, and we're talking with Bryan, and he just gave us a lot of information, details on videography and being a cameraman. And now I'm going to ask him a little bit about Bitcoin, because he said that he's pretty versed in it, and that's one of the things when it comes to investments. I love an investment, and I love to learn about those ways of money ways. So let's get him a little bit talking about crypto when he comes back. And in the meantime, I'm going to turn the camera around and let you guys enjoy this beautiful view. Here it comes. Beautiful ocean vibes. Thank you. Here's your Mikey.
Awesome.
Okay. And so what is Slap and Tickle? That's cute.
Yeah, the name got me.
Indian Pale Ale. It's a beer.
Two of my favorite things: a slap and a tickle.
Hey. I wanted to go ahead and pick your brain then, since you opened and allowed it to me.
For sure.
About Bitcoin. You say you know about Bitcoin. You're into crypto. Let me tell you my little instinct with it. So back in the day, I got a little bit of Bitcoin, and then when in 2020, I think it was, they did the big sellout. People were selling, making monies. I just had to put like maybe a couple of cents, and it turned into $75. So I'm like, let me get out. I'm out. I'll take the $75. Big mistake. Big mistake.
Well, hold on. Nobody goes broke taking profits, right? So let's remember
Okay.
that. Let's remember
Okay,
that.
that's a perspective.
Yeah, no one
Okay.
goes broke taking profits. That's the first step in financial literacy. So, and you can't get mad at at gains that you never had. That's like being upset about a man that you never met,
Ooh.
right?
Okay.
So it's okay. You did
Okay.
good then. You had a good
But then I
experience.
saw
You
what
had
it
a good
was. I
experience.
did. I made $75 out of change.
Which is very important that you had a good experience. Your
Yes,
first
that
experience was
happened.
good.
Yes, but as time has passed, I can see where I could have made probably thousands off of my same little $75. Do you need an answer?
No.
And now that we've had the little waves of up and downs, we've had even the people call fake news
Mhm,
on
mhm.
Bitcoin and say that's it's not real or not real money, but we see that it is.
Yep.
Is there a way to put Bitcoin together with something solid in the real world that's not just a transfer of an exchange of money, like or
Instead of buying Bitcoin, is there a way to? Instead of buying Bitcoin directly, is there a way to still profit off of Bitcoin? Is that kind of what you're wanting to say?
yeah, in a more tangible way in the world? I think. Let me find the words. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Say I'm not good at investing and I don't want to put money into something that to me seems sometimey, iffy, even more so than stocks. I think I understand a little more stocks than I do Bitcoin.
Correct. Well, stocks are actual companies that you can check their P&Ls, you can check their quarterly earnings, and make sure that you get your.
Right.
Oh, are they making profit? Are they not making profit?
Right.
Are they reducing their losses? Are their
with
margins?
Bitcoin is so emotional.
Correct. So the best way to think about Bitcoin is like gold.
Okay.
Do people trade gold on the daily? Do people buy products with gold? Do people sell stuff with gold? Usually no, right? Usually you buy it and you hold it.
Yeah, there's no stuff. I mean, computers have gold in them, and there's phones and.
True, but are you personally buying gold and then using it to go
not
buy?
In this country.
And then yeah, exactly, and then use it. Yeah, maybe on a third world country, you're like, oh, I have gold, I can go trade this for 5 donkeys or whatever. Right. But usually, when people buy gold in the modern day, it's not to use it; it's to hold it.
Yeah.
It's to store your value of money.
Or wear it.
But that's still storing it.
It is.
You're not transferring. Maybe you're trading your necklace to somebody who will maybe, or you can go to a pawn shop, but what you're doing is you're giving up your gold for
something in exchange. It's a barter.
And you're actually probably losing when you go to the.
But you can't do that with Bitcoin. It stays like in a proverbial world of
digital,
like the
NFTs.
World.
But that is the comparison that they use, is that it's a store of value. Which is why it's ironic when you see things like, I think it was Shake Shack that just said they're going to start taking Bitcoin payments.
Yeah, I've paid for nails with Bitcoin.
That's cool and all, but
it's not it.
I would say mainstream speaking, that's their way of taking your Bitcoin. They want you to use it like money so that they can store it for value themselves.
Because they're not going to use it.
Because they're not going to use it.
Oh.
Which is where you get into your other cryptos like XRP, Litecoin, and those are your transactional currency driven. Dogecoin was kind of used for a transactional.
Dogecoin.
So those are more based off of your buying and selling on your daily compared to Bitcoin.
Have you seen any unity in cannabis and Bitcoin or cannabis
for sure.
And crypto?
For sure. That's how I first heard about crypto, was in 2017. The cannabis, I used to run the Hitman Coffee Shop. And we had a lot of cannabis enthusiasts out there showing how to use Bitcoin in 2017. And that's when I first got into it. So I've been in it for like 8 years now.
And you're successful. You can say you're successful.
I am up on all of my crypto positions.
That's right. You're up on. That means you're making money.
I am profitable on all of my crypto, yes.
That's how you say it.
But that's not
the jargon.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm selling my crypto to realize
you're still
those
holding.
gains, or that's like a retirement fund. That's just holding. I will be taking profits once this cycle is over, and we can go into like the 4-year cycles of crypto and all those other things if we want to. We can go into like ETFs. Would
you say that it would benefit than me, considering that now I've learned that it's a holding state? That if I wanted to get into crypto, I should create a way for people to give it to me rather than me make my own coin?
I mean, that is so there are investors that don't use their own currency in order to buy crypto, right?
Okay.
So that goes back to buying assets that bring you revenue, and you use your asset revenue to buy more assets. So don't use your hard-earned
My
money,
money.
to buy anything really, right? You're going to want to buy assets that appreciate in value.
Define assets.
Real estate, stocks, crypto. Some people like investing in watches,
Right.
the right watches.
Right. Are
Some people
purses
do
a
shoes.
thing? Because
Some
I've seen girls
and
go
there's
in
always
on the purses.
Pokemon cards right now are kind
Okay.
of hot, you know.
Yeah.
Some people are buying those as assets, right? And then they are able to leverage those assets for more money.
Okay.
So once you buy an asset that
Right.
gives you money, or like an ATM machine,
Yeah, yeah.
you buy an ATM machine, you make 4 to 10% a month off of that ATM machine. You use
Okay.
that ATM machine's money to buy your crypto. Don't use your hard-earned money to buy crypto. That's
Okay.
how the real
Yeah.
money
How
people
real
do it.
investing,
like real
works.
estate people,
Like,
they use their monies from their real estate earnings,
yeah,
not their job,
yeah,
but from their real estate to buy crypto.
yeah. It's like going to Vegas
And then
and
you win,
right,
and you use your winnings to make more
to
winnings.
make more, right, but you don't use more of it. Okay, like, okay, yeah, it's like Vegas. It's
little
it's
bit.
it, it's a little bit.
It's a little gambling, a lot of research, you know,
Okay.
a lot of stuff.
Do you
like
stay up at night
that. Yes, up at night, up in the morning, up all times.
trying to learn?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Because that's what it takes
Classes,
to be
courses.
successful, is to keep on constantly learning.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. That's one of the reasons I like doing the podcast stuff, is because everybody has a perspective and something that I don't know. And then I'm the kind of person that really does, like, I have a little bubble to keep myself pure.
Mhm.
So like, I don't watch the news. I don't know what movies are out. I wait till people can tell me, and then also that lets me know that's the kind of person you are. Those are your interests, you know. So I get to learn about you, and I get to learn about something new.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I stay. I like '90s sitcoms, and I don't know. I have my little bubble, but it helps me a lot in that way, where I'm always in the learning position, where I always want to
Well,
learn.
you're not alone. A lot of people now don't watch mainstream media. Mainstream media. MSM
Is it because it's so
is-
sad?
yeah,
Because it's so sad.
well, it's people are starting to realize it's all NGO driven, it's all lobbyist driven, it's
Yeah.
all propaganda. And now people
Yeah.
are going to people like you, right? Who
Yeah.
have podcasts, who
Yeah.
have YouTube channels, who
Yeah.
are actual journalists in the field,
Right.
talking to the people,
To the
sharing
actual people.
sharing that what they've learned
Yeah.
in real time.
Yeah.
That's where
See, like, this
journalism is
turned from talking about the camera to talking about financial investments, and that you can't get on TV. You can only get it live
There you go.
on the Mimi Show.
Any other cannabis questions? Anything we want?
Yeah.
Branding, marketing.
Branding and marketing, of course. I've set up a couple of podcasts for some people, not big like you.
Yeah.
I kind of do it like as a side hustle thing, because I've been able to set up mine, and a lot of people like what I've done. Then I'm able to show them branding and whatnot, and the little bit that I know. So maybe you can instruct me, or inform me in something. Colors, for some reason, I think are big to me when I go to help people with their branding, and they're making their logo when they don't have one. And then we were talking about earlier, it's important to me to touch the people. I want to look the people in the eye. I want to see the people. I want to, tell me your story. How did you, how'd you get here? Why is this your life right now? We get to meet, So those things are things that I pass along as information, that even though it may not be in a book, or something like that, I tell the person who podcast I'm setting up or whatnot that they might want to do. Is to touch the people, to go, like you were saying, talk to the brands, make connections, make friendships. What in the world of branding and it's that you've seen in the cannabis space has stood out to you, that you didn't know, that you learned, that became now part of who you are, or part of something that you teach forward in branding? Because that's what I like to say is the colors that you use. And I start there. What are your colors? What are and who do you know, or how do you meet the people? How do you present yourself? Do you shake the hands? That's what's important to me.
So are you talking from the marketing
people.
to the client perspective, or
Yeah.
the client to the people perspective?
Oh, okay. What's the difference? Wouldn't it be the same? Doesn't everybody want to talk to the people?
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
But so Just repeat it again, just so I can make sure that what the question.
I say to the people,
What's,
and to the people whose podcast I'm setting up,
mm-hmm.
I'll tell them to me the first things that I start with, the main things for branding, are your colors and who you are to the public that you're servicing or serving, or
Yeah.
the people that you're talking to. So I recommend them to speak, to go into the events, or to go where they're going to create the content, to meet the people, to look in their eyes, to ask the questions, to ask what the story is,
Mm-hmm.
where you come from, what I know it sounds lame, but what inspired you?
No, that's a
But
great
it's
question. After dealing with a lot of cannabis owners, I've realized that there's two types of cannabis owners.
okay.
There's the one cannabis owner that really wants to get their own personal uh, feeling and vibe and energy into their brand, right?
Okay.
And then you have the other cannabis owner that would rather just have it sitting as its own solo entity, its own company. It's not really
Not associated to them as a
them
person.
personally. Of course, they still love it; it's still their child, but
Right.
they don't necessarily need if they're a skater, let's say, they don't
Yeah.
need to make a skating cannabis company, right?
Okay.
Whereas the other cannabis owner, if he was a skater, he's going to go full head on and be a skating
Yeah,
brand,
a
right?
skating brand. Okay.
So those are the two.
Connecting it to their personal, and there's some that don't. They rather have it as like an entity outside of themselves.
Outside, and they're not really
Okay.
trying to associate with themselves or anything, right?
Okay.
So like Catalyst and Elliot.
Okay.
Catalyst is 100% Elliot's face, Elliot's branding, all of that. You get what you see from Elliot.
That's
at
a gentleman
Catalyst,
that's
right?
been going to the
City Hall.
yes, and talking.
fighting for
I've been
yeah.
watching that.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
man's not playing a game. Okay, so that's all him. And then the other one,
And the other one, let's see, I'm trying to think of a brand that you don't really know the owner of, and you don't really, and I think that is,
cookies.
no, that's totally Burner. That's completely Burner.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning.
Yeah. That's so, you can't think cookies without thinking Burner.
Oh well, I need to start thinking more.
They go hand in hand.
Okay.
And I think that's something that the cannabis space, actually, if we're talking about it, maybe they can learn from other outside industries, is how to take away your ego as the business owner and
yeah.
stop putting your face in front of everything,
Yeah.
and just let the brand speak for itself, let the flower speak for itself. Maybe Maven is a good one.
Let the flower
Maven,
speak.
Shane and Maven is a
Maven
good one.
Genetics.
Yeah, and even though Shane's extremely awesome and respectable, I don't really
Yeah.
see him like, like Maven is Maven. Like it's its
Yeah.
own branding,
Yeah.
its own style.
You
I
you
think
trust
her
the
name is
weed. You trust the herb.
Rachel, I think was her name. She's no longer with Maven. I think she's with another vape brand now, but she did a great job in getting the brand represented the way that Shane had a vision of, right?
Yeah.
And Shane, you never really saw him like on the Maven page, or you never really saw him like putting his
Yeah.
face on packaging on a brand or
Yeah.
anything like that, right?
But there's nothing wrong
Nothing
with that.
It's just two different.
It's just two different ways of marketing and
Correct.
branding the product.
Correct.
Okay. If I'll ask one more question about the branding, and since I have you here, I'm gonna take advantage of it myself.
Yeah.
My when people ask me who's your audience, I always say people that smoke weed or adults. I'll just say adults, and people want me to get real specific.
Okay.
Like, well, is it like
yes.
this guy? And I'm like, no, just adults that want to do adult things and have adult, thoughts. And I haven't gotten to
And this is something. This is what I would think is actually comes before your colors.
okay.
Is actually knowing who your demographic
The
is.
audience,
Who's your target demographic?
Yeah.
Is it adults? Is it? But they are correct that you should specify it down. I've had plenty of meetings. I cannot tell you how many meetings I've had with clients that say, "Oh, you know who I want to be like? Apple."
Mm.
Oh, they appeal to everybody.
Mm.
But if you actually try to teach them, hey,
Yeah.
actually no, Apple wasn't for everybody.
Right.
Apple was for your tech,
Yeah.
sophisticated, minimal,
Yeah.
Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
nerd, right?
Yeah. You had to
the
choose
ages
between
of,
Apple and BlackBerry.
21
That was
and
the-
like 35.
Yeah.
They were very, very niche when they
Yeah.
started out. And then they started to appeal to everybody.
Right.
So the more you can
Specific
and target who you want.
Yeah.
If you can be like, I want a 25-year-old Latino from Los Angeles
Yeah.
with no tattoos, and he likes the outdoors.
Yeah.
Boom. That's how you
That's
get to
it.
a brand.
Okay.
That's how you get to
Okay.
a brand. That's how you get to the influencers.
Okay.
That's how you build a lifestyle.
I need
That's
a more.
how you-
I need to get more specific.
So
I
you
need to
would
get
be
more
like, if
specific because I would just say adults.
30 to 45-year-old, I would assume maybe more progressive, not conservative.
Okay. I teeter totter on progressive and conservative. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The cannabis space, Bryan has been really kind to me.
Usually, you're also going to want to say a type of
A
profession.
job. Yeah,
So
what
it's a
kind of-
9 to
what do they
5er, or
do?
is it an entrepreneur?
Right.
Is it the owner, or is it the worker?
Why can't I say all of it? Why does it have to be so specific, and why can't why is it better to be more specific instead of to have a wider
I'll
audience?
give you an example. What's one of the best selling shoes of all time?
Nike,
Go more specific.
Skechers,
No. What Nike shoe?
Air Force One,
More.
Jordan.
Jordan, right?
Okay.
Is Jordan's shoes meant for everybody when they came out?
No.
They were
No.
meant for
Basketball players.
right?
Yeah.
And then it expanded, and then they blew up. And I would argue even now, they're not a shoe for everybody. They're not
No.
for skaters. They're
No.
not for.
Are you a shoe guy?
Walker
Do you
person?
know
No,
about shoe?
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
But I know enough about brand
Yeah.
marketing, and I
Yeah.
love Nike, and I invest in Nike actually.
Yeah.
So I know
Okay,
like,
do it.
a lot of their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or I got into their stuff like this last 6 months. But
They're solid. That's a solid.
They went after that specific basketball athlete
Right.
first, and then it expanded to where now all the
The
cool kids,
people expanded it. I don't think they even did it.
Better than,
I
even
think
better
the
than you
people
let the
expanded
people
it.
Sell your product for you. Another
That's
great
the
example
brand.
is Vans. Vans was a skating shoe, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, everybody fucking wearing Vans.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
a
didn't know if you're not
mom
skating.
shoe.
You never know how to
It's a
skate.
comfortable mom shoe.
I remember
You
when
can
I was
slip
growing
in.
up, New Balances were a dad shoe. And now all
Yeah.
of a sudden, all the young kids are wearing New Balances.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, it's the hottest new thing for kids. these days.
Really?
Yeah, New Balances are in.
Really?
I don't talk to me, but I don't know. But yeah,
They even have numbers. Weren't they numbered? They're like
I
New
never got
Balances
into
were
New
numbered.
Balance. I think I was too young, and now I'm too old. Like,
You skipped one.
yeah, it's get my generation.
Thank you, Bryan. I'd like to have you back another time.
Sure.
I'd like to have you back virtually, and then probably at like somewhere where you're doing your craft, so I can show you off
Cool.
and record you doing the recording of the recordings.
Yeah, maybe I can try to get you into Cali Vibes this weekend.
Oh my God! We're going to Cali Vibes. Are we going to Cali Vibes? Don't do me like that. Don't do me like, we're live.
Maybe
Don't do
the
me like
Mimi
that
podcast
live.
pops up at Cali Vibes.
Mimi show, maybe at Cali Vibes. It's a Mimi show. Say bye. Say thank you.
Later, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. See, we went from cameras to financials to branding. That's Bryan. I told y'all he's wherever you've been wanting to be and wherever you want to go. That's where this man is. So follow him on the internet. Follow him. Bryan, my boy. Shay, Chris Home.
What's
says
up,
hello.
Shay? What's up, Shay? Thanks for pulling up, Shay.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching the Mimi Show straight from Huntington Beach House. Huntington Beach. My backyard. This is good. Thank you. All right.
Beautiful day.
Bye.
Thanks for having me, Mimi.
Thank you. And we click goodbye.